Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a foodie book tag. This is the very first foodie book tag of 2021, and the foodie book tag contribution to our third triathlon. This foodie book tag is going to actually pertain to a beverage, and that is coffee. And in particular, this is the coffee brand book tag. I believe there is a coffee book tag lingering around that pertains to different kinds of coffee. This pertains to different brands from across the globe. A lot of them are American because that's what I'm most familiar with, but there are some brands from other countries that have a strong presence in the United States. So let's get right into the tag. And I have here 16 questions pertaining to different brands of coffee, and then the usual suspects. So let's begin. First one is Maxwell House, a work that was good to the last drop. And that phrase, good to the last drop, was coined by our 26th president, Theodore Roosevelt, who drank Maxwell House coffee and described it as being good to the last drop. And they ended up using that as their slogan. But I went with Hanukkah Guilt by Eileen Schneider. If you recognize the name, Eileen Schneider is my friend and fellow gladiator Ari's mom. And Eileen was also on a panel where we discussed My Name is Asher Lev by Chaim Potok, and she made an individual video guest contribution. But this was so engaging and unique, and it really explored something that I've never seen in a mystery, let alone a cozy mystery. And a rabbi taking it into her own hands to solve a particular case is quite intriguing, and we also get a good sense of Rabbi Cohen and her supporting cast, and I especially like the inclusion of her nephew Josh, who has Asperger's syndrome. He's younger, and I think that the way that he is incorporated into this novel is very... it really covers the realm of diversity, and it does so accurately. So that always stuck out to me. And as the series progresses, we begin to see I think everything seems to come together, because people may ask, what is a rabbi doing solving mysteries? She's not a detective. And I think that realization comes into play, but she does play a very pivotal role in this, Unleavened Dead, and Yom Killer. Next one is Folgers, a book you were eager to resume reading. Just as the Folgers slogan goes, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. But the one that I had been eager to resume reading is Demian by Hermann Hesse, and I always wanted to make sure that I had the clear sense of mind to go back and resume reading, because I was always looking forward to it, but the message in this novel is so strong and meaningful that you have to be able to immerse yourself with a clear mind, and one that allows you to give it the proper devotion, because when done so, this is fantastic. Next is Chock Full O'Nuts, a work that transports you into a wealthy environment. Chock Full O'Nuts is known as the Heavenly Coffee, and the original song went heavenlier than Rockefeller's money could buy, but because the Rockefeller family did not appreciate being brought to attention in that way. They just used this heavenlier than a millionaire's money can buy. So, the importance of being earnest would be something that I would often refer to as my go-to answer for upper-class work. But I'm going to go with something different, and that is Henderson the Rain King by Saul Bellow, because it gives you an idea of what being in the upper class is like, but it also reminds people that just because you are in the upper class does not mean you are guaranteed happiness, and it does not mean that you are guaranteed an ideal lifestyle, because Eugene Henderson even seems to take a bit of disdain on the fact that his wife, Lily, devotes a lot of her time to just sit and have her portrait painted. We find that a little bit frivolous, but that's something that some people do, and people like Lily are just like that. Next is Dunkin, a scene-stealing supporting character. Dunkin' Donuts has been a powerhouse franchise for decades, but as years have gone by, their main staple has not been their donuts, but their coffee. But I'm going to take a different path on this one. I'm not going to go with a fictional character. I'm going to go with a non-fictional figure. And that is Alexander Hamilton in any relevant biography. So, if I've read a biography, I read Thomas Jefferson, The Art of Power by John Meacham. I read James Monroe, A Life by Tim McGrath. Alexander Hamilton is frequently referenced, and he plays a very pivotal and, in their case, an antagonizing role. And he has a very strong and standout personality, and he has a very forward position as far as his Federalist views are concerned, which could be viewed with the positions that he took, the impact that he had on George Washington and John Adams, the fact that he founded the New York Post, which to this day is producing material, and then there's that infamous duel where Aaron Burr shot and killed him. Next one is Wawa. For the record, Wawa is very prevalent in New Jersey. It's a convenience store staple in the state of New Jersey. Even though the main plant is located in Pennsylvania, and Wawas primarily exist in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and they've been making a few appearances in other areas, but it's primarily that mid-Atlantic area. But the prompt that I have for this one is a work that makes you think or have an idea about New Jersey. And I'm going to go atmospheric and say Cat and Mouse by James Patterson. This is the fourth book in the Alex Cross series, and there's a key chase that takes place, not just in New Jersey, but in areas that I can actually picture in my mind because I have made my way through those particular areas. And so, as far as atmospheric is concerned, this one makes me think about the physical sense of New Jersey. New Jersey, though, is known for a wide array of writers, such as Walt Whitman, Allen Ginsberg, Philip Roth, Harlan Coben, Janet Ivanovich, and so many more people. Next one is Starbucks. A writer you find pretentious but admirable. And for this one, I'm going to go with Robert Walzer. He is a Swiss writer. I've read Jacob von Gutten. I've read The Walk. I've read Microscripts. And I read a short story of his called Trousers. His writing definitely takes a particular taste, but when you think about it and you immerse yourself on it, it is very thought-provoking and brilliant. It's kind of like a strong cheese, and how it requires a refined taste and it requires the right state of mind, but his writing really does make you think, and the conclusions are quite mind-blowing, and they make so much sense. Next one is McCafe, which is McDonald's brand of coffee. An excellent source for world literature. And I could come up with so many different answers, but I'm going to go with 75 short masterpieces because this is a great way to get into different writers from across the globe, because they're small enough works, but they give you a strong enough taste of each writer. Next one is Peet's. A work that especially succeeds with its ability to craft words, because Peet's builds itself on the idea of paying specific attention to the crafting of their coffee. But I'm going to go with Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, because the best thing about this book is Baldwin's ability to craft words and keep things going, keep things flowing as far as his writing is concerned, because the characters, the plot, and the circumstances just don't hit it with me, because none of his characters are likable, and the things that happen to them are misfortunate, but it's not like I really garner wholehearted sympathy for any of them. But the writing in this was brilliant, and it really bumped up my score. Next one is Café Bustelo, a work from a Spanish-speaking country that translates well into English. And for that, I am going to go with The Voices of the Modern World by Nicanor Parra, which is featured in Antipoems New and Selected. Parra is a Chilean poet. He died a few years ago, but he lived into his 100s. But what to me really stuck out with The Vices of the Modern World was not just its ability to flow with not just its ability to speak to me with the words in particular, but how his writing, how this particular poem really made me think of my own circumstances living in the United States, and how it really, I think that U.S. readers could really see something in this poem, even though it was originally written in Spanish. But The Vices of the Modern World in this collection was translated into English by W.S. Merwin. Next one is Lavazza, a work that gives you a sense of Italy. And when I think of Italy and Italian, I think of food. And one thing that makes me think of Italian food is cook shelf Italian, which I really was dipping in and out of during my freshman year of high school, or the summer after my freshman year of high school. And I just can't help but think of these delicious, like this basil and pine nut pesto. Definitely makes you think of Italy, and or definitely makes you think of Italian food. The soup. This is a green soup, but minestrone definitely makes you think of Italy and Italian food. So, definitely love my Italian food. Next one is 8 o'clock. Your favorite use of a time of day in a song. A lot of people sing about times of days, depending on what they're trying to refer to. But my favorite is an oldie called 5 O'Clock World by the Vogues. If you watch the Drew Carey show, that was the original theme song to that show. The song is far older, but I really love the flow and just the feel-good vibe that it gives to me when I'm listening to it. And then the full-length opening of the Drew Carey show's theme is just a riot. It's hysterical. And I also made mention to the fact that on the topic of 5 o'clock, there was It's 5 O'Clock Somewhere by Alan Jackson and Jimmy Buffett, which was, that's also a bit of an enjoyable song. Next one is Giovanni, a writer whose works are always rich, and for that I'm going with Ray Bradbury, because he writes in so many different genres, and regardless as to what he's writing, he always writes eloquently. His writing is always so rich with meaning. It is very descriptive and atmospheric, and it really, and it's also very mind-blowing and thought-provoking, where he definitely makes you feel something as you are reading his work. Next one is Chase and Sanborn, your favorite literary partnership, and for this one I'm going to go with Ponyboy Curtis and Johnny Cade from The Outsiders. Their partnership only started to take fruition as they were making their way away from their current circumstance, but even though their partnership didn't last very long, it was very meaningful between the two of them, and there was also this sense of just what's meant to be a tough environment, their ability to develop a sense of a soft side, and also the incorporation of the fact that there are no boundaries when it comes to literature, which is illustrated through the poetry of Robert Frost, in particular Nothing Gold Can Stay. Next one is Martinson. Your favorite word or expression that originated in a work of literature. And a fun fact for this one is the founder of Martinson Coffee, his name is Joe Martinson. And if you know enough about coffee, a common nickname for a cup of coffee is a cup of Joe. The original cup of Joe is Martinson Coffee, named after its founder, Joe Martinson. But my answer is going to be debatable, and that is the butterfly effect, which arguably comes from A Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury. Officially, it comes from a meteorologist by the name of Edward Lorenz. He coined it, though, during the 60s, but A Sound of Thunder came out in 1952. So the use of the butterfly effect, where one small action, or any one action, will have an impact on everything else that follows, was illustrated and is the basis of Ray Bradbury's short story that uses the stepping on a butterfly to illustrate the message at hand. Whether or not, I think Lorenz had another argument, but A Sound of Thunder Ray Bradbury and A Sound of Thunder came before Edward Lorenz and his theory about the butterfly effect. So, but either which way, it is a very interesting way of thinking. Next one is Native American coffee. There is a brand of coffee that is called Native American coffee. A work by a Native American you would like to read. Something I heard great things about is the novel There There by Tommy Orange, which pertains to the Native American life. But I would also like to read some more works from American Indian myths and legends. Next is Sanka. How would you go about reading more works from different genres? And I think that for me, the best way to go about them is to find shorter works within topics of interest, or that hold the potential interest that appeal to me. I think that the most important way to broaden your horizons is to just look into that area and find something that intrigues you, and then give it a shot, because the worst that can happen is you're not fond of it, and you don't approach it again. Next is, what is your favorite brand of coffee? And to be honest, I'm not a big coffee person. I don't drink coffee. I like to have orange juice in the morning. That's my pick-me-up. I don't even like iced coffee. I like iced tea, but I don't like hot tea, and I'm not into coffee. So I really can't give an answer to this question. But finally, who do you tag? And I am going to tag 24 people to do the coffee brand book tag. I tag Steve Donahue, Jack from Rambling Ractioneur, Bill from Bill Ruttenberg, Irion and Prometheus from Book Zealots, Weston from Weston Ritchie, Laura from Let's Get Fictional, Maya from Bespectacled, Amber from Amber Unabridged, Michaela and Gretchen from Betwixt the Books, Perry from Literary Niterary, Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, Noah from Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse, Booktube Goddess, Pink Pills and Paper, Jessa from Gabbing with Jessa, Tom from Optimistic Owl, Decca from The Introvert Archive, Sue and Megan from Spinebreakers, Tuba Lit House, Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics, Mark from Mark Nash, Sve from Sve, Shaiki, Lindsay from Lindsay's Book Life, and James from James Holder. I want to thank everybody for checking out this new foodie book tag. I hope, if you're interested and I didn't tag you, I hope that you also give this a try, because coffee always seems to refresh the people around me. I'll put it to you that way, because, and I hope that you guys, I think that the people that I tagged, most or all of them are coffee people, and I hope you guys are, just not my thing. The people that surround me, can't live without it. But if you like what you see, I hope that you subscribe, like. I would definitely be up to having a deeper, extended conversation in the comments. And if you really like what you see, please support us on our Patreon, for the money that we make will allow us to provide you, the viewer, with even more content. For now, and as always, I encourage you to keep reading.